Good morning, Mr. David. This is our final group project for the human condition entitled Parasites of the Earth. So, in Singapore, about 700 million kilograms of plastic waste is discarded every year, but less than 10% of plastics are being recycled. Our excessive use of plastic is impacting ocean health and biodiversity, and therefore this prompted us to work towards a project that raises the awareness of plastic waste. And this is the preliminary concept. So as you can see, the image here is a rough idea of what is supposed to turn out. So the concept of life for a life is at play for our installation artwork. As the economy grows, human beings would consume more than needed to survive. As a result, the Earth's natural resources, which is essential for life to survive on the planet, depletes. And if humans were not given the limitations to stop the greed, our existence on this planet could be at risk. And our installation aims to engage the public through raising awareness and educating people on the excessive waste of plastic. So in this way, we invite the community members to participate in providing unused bubble wrap and plastic bottles for this installation art project. So we might invite like teachers, staff, members, and just children itself to contribute some of their recycled plastic bottles and bubble wrap. So what is the objective of our project? We would like to raise awareness about plastic wastage exclusively in Singapore that is caused by our human parasitic waste and thinking of using up Earth's resources mindlessly. Okay, so the concept for our interior structure, so we have listed down the different parts of the structure for our final installation. For the colors, we chose to use primary colors. These primary colors will be done on glass, so we have a sort of stained glass effect to capture the attention of students. This is because we were inspired by the colors of the site, which we will show later on, and therefore we chose these colors to make it site specific. And the modulus will be painted in white, so will the framework. And the base will be a glass panel with recycled plastic bottles below. So our possible site of choice is Nanyang Primary School. This is the site that we have chosen. As you can see, the colors is matching with our chosen colors for our installation artwork. Now I will pass on to Shruti to continue with the rest.
Alright, the reasons for the site chosen is to bring awareness to the future consumers about the damaging amount of waste that is affecting the earth. Therefore, we chose primary school to educate the future generation. Also, we mentioned about collection of bubble wrap and plastic bottles. Therefore, we actually came out with a poster to bring awareness to the community that we are actually collecting all these items so that they can sponsor it to us. And then these are some of the suggested photos of where the artwork will potentially be. So we try to choose like open areas at Nanyang Primary School so that these areas are commonly shared by the students, where they will have activities in an open area. So because our artwork is large, therefore having it at an open space would be a better choice. Over here, there are some images that can show how the students can interact. So basically, the bubble wrap around the walls, surrounding walls, allows them to be able to apply pressure and then pop the bubble wrap. And the modular itself allows students to be able to engage with it, either through walking around it, feeling it, or like popping the bubble wrap as well. There's one particular modular over here whereby students can actually move about. It's actually mobile, yeah. So basically, it's for them to push around, sensory for them to experience. Next, our internal structure is actually inspired by modular design theory. So modular design is actually a theory whereby we practice and subdivide a system into smaller units called modules, which can be independently created, modified, replaced, or exchanged between different systems. Therefore, we have these small little modulars, one triangle as one module. So therefore, we can actually play around with it to form different system. So the big one, we actually combine 4 modular into one system, something like this. Okay, over here, you can see that these are the 3D views of our artwork. So we have the front view, the top view, as well as the side and the back view. So over here, you can see the estimated dimensions for the installation. So the height will be 4.5 meters, as well as the width is 4.5 meters. Okay. So we mentioned about the stained glass concept. So what the colors over here actually represent the stained glass. So whenever the sunlight shines on it, it will actually blend into different colors. So maybe red and yellow, through the sunlight, it will turn orange. Yeah, so it's very similar to Nanyang Primary School, the site. Yeah, over here, you can see the colors. As well as also, we can touch on to students' color theory that they learn in the art class. Alright, next I will pass the mic to Nas.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about the structure of the external and internal walls. So we have chosen bubble wrap to be part of the material. The reason why we chose bubble wrap is because the pressure one gains when pressing bubble wrap, which consequently affects the structure of the artwork. So eventually they will keep on pressing the bubble wrap and everything will disappear or disintegrate. Okay, so bubble wraps are often disposed without much thought due to its cheap cost of mass production. Thus, it inevitably contributes to plastic usage and wastage by humans. So next, we are going to talk about the structure of the ground flooring over here. It's made out of glass panel and crushed plastic bottles. So simultaneously, stepping on glass panel flooring which crushes the plastic bottles simulates the sound of the destruction and evoking feelings of guilt from the cause of destruction due to the mindless parasitic nature of humans. And also the ground flooring is quite colorful, therefore it matches with our skin. So these two acts actually express the notions of destroying the earth that are seemingly harmless. By using recycled bubble wrap and plastic bottles, we can then reinforce and further educate the children about the wastage of these items consumed by consumers as well as the commercial sectors. Okay, so this is our suggested implementation plan. So our budget will be around $50,000 and the design perhaps around 3 months that we take to design the concept. For construction, it will perhaps take 6 months and installation is 1 week, and we would consider choosing the September holidays to do this. The exhibition, perhaps once all the bubble wrap and plastic bottles are deflated and crushed, or after 1 school term. Okay, so decommission, perhaps minimal traffic disruption because we will be doing it during the September holidays. And also there is remedial works will involve the equipment for scaffolding of the structure and also construction work stuff. Okay, the safety consideration that we actually take note of is the possible fire hazard due to the materials used, which is wood and plastic. And the size of the structure will allow limited number of people to enter at a time. Okay, then I will pass on to Sharina, who will be talking about the ideation of images.
For ideation images, we actually come up with a few different points of perspective and ideas of design. The first idea that we had was like a rounded spherical installation using wires as a prototype. However, we have tried to do so and it did not work out, and so we used a second alternative, which was a wooden structure, which is the final piece that you can see today. Okay, so these are the sample sketches that we have. We think that we wanted to do a cubicle structure at first. We wanted to do something that's more abstract. However, we decided on something that's quite abstract, yet it has a bit of organic structure in it due to the bubble wrap as well as the use of the modulus. Okay, so this is the rough sketch of the finalized main structure here. We did number the structure like so. So for example, as we were building the prototype, we had to structure each column as, for example, one side we call A1 and A2, so that we don't get confused, because initially when we were trying out this prototype in itself, we did get confused as to which part goes to where. But after we figured out that numbering each column, it made it even more easier for us to build the structure as time passes by. Okay, so we also calculated like how long one piece of dowel is, and then we multiplied it into the final object, which is about 4 meters tall. Okay, the next slide please. Okay, so these were the main parts which are required. Okay, so basically for the structure in itself, we use an acrylic sheet. As you can see here, it's used for the flooring. We use wooden rods or dowels, as you can see, as a main frame for the prototype. As well as the modulars were created by ice cream sticks, which we joined together by force, and eventually we use a glue gun to actually combine them together. Okay, so how do we prep the acrylic sheet for the base? So basically, we did drill holes at the 4 corners in order to put the frame in the base of the acrylic sheet, so it's sturdy. Okay, and then we give an allowance about 1.5 cm, because each dowel has a 1.5 cm measurement on each side, and markings were made before we actually remove the paper cover on the acrylic sheet itself. Okay, so we did have a little bit of help from Mr. Tay to help us drill in the acrylic sheet onto the dowels, but that was the only help we got. Okay, so basically everything else was done by us, but basically he did help us with the drill, because we did struggle with it in the beginning. We tried multiple ways, like sawing it down, sandpapering it, but this was the most effective way to create this prototype. Yeah. This is the assembly. So this was how we created the frame in the beginning. It has a similar resemblance to like a swing, a children's playground, which I think really implements and complements the primary school environment. Okay, and these were the ideations that we had. We wanted it to be an internal structure where it has different rooms and mazes for students to actually explore the medium. Okay, so all right. Okay, thank you. Okay, so when we constructed the modular side, basically one side is about, the smaller side will eventually be about 500 mm, and the bigger one will be about 1,800 millimeters in actual size. Okay, and then we would construct it by force, as I mentioned just now, and combine it together just like a puzzle. Okay, so as you can see, each modular site has bubble wrap. It has the cellophane paper, which will eventually translate to glass. Some of them are hollow because we want students to actually go over it as well, kind of like a playground, an interactive playground. Thanks. Okay, and then we had 2 ideas. Initially, we wanted to cover the prototype with a a transparency paper which has organic shapes and bubble wrap. However, we found that it was not as effective in terms of translating our idea because we wanted the owl in itself to disintegrate despite having a frame. And so covering it in complete totality with the bubble wrap helps convey our message clearly lah. Okay. Alright, and this is the final artwork. As you can see, in our PowerPoint slide, you can see the final images much more clearly as well when you are looking at it in real life. Basically, it is an interactive playground or installation that helps students understand the impact of our of the human beings causes on the earth, about how we are destroying it due to the waste that we have. And the materials used for this particular prototype is made by waste primarily. So yep, thank you.